Welcome back, guys. I'm waiting for Boniface to join me here in a second. All right, Boniface, you have to be on your phone. It cannot be on the computer, just to let you know. You have to be on your iPhone. Are you on your phone, Boniface? It has to be on your phone. And then when you see this page, you can send a request to join the broadcast. I can see you here, Boniface, but looks like you are on your computer. You have to be on your phone. Okay, I see Boniface here now. Ameingia. He's just gonna join me anytime now. Waiting to Boniface to join me. Sending an invite. It's connecting. What's up? What's up?
Niaje kwa sana.
Ulikuwa kwa computer?
Yes, I don't know how to use technology, bana. This is the first time I'm doing a
You have to be on your phone. Yeah.
I didn't know that much, man.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Good to see you, Bonnie. Uko aje?
Good to see you too. Niko poa sana. I actually have only 15 minutes. I have a 11:45. I have a 12 o'clock. Niko Harvard.
Okay.
I want to come study here sometime next year, so I need to be able to do these meetings with some professors.
So how much time do you have for this broadcast?
15 minutes.
15? Really?
Because I have an 11:45 and I have a 12 o'clock.
Okay.
And we begin earlier, but technology failed us. So, but what we can be able to do, we can do part 1 today.
Okay.
And then we can do part 2 tomorrow, Friday, because I'm still in the US.
Oh, okay, that's good. Friday, that will work too. So without wasting much time, because I see you don't have much time, my name is, I don't think we have met. My name is George. I'm the founder of the, co-founder of the Prudentials. I live in Dallas, Texas. The reason I was inviting you today, I wanted to come and talk to my viewers about your political journey, your activism and all that good stuff. So without wasting much time, can you tell the viewers, because I have people watching here who are Americans, yes, Nigerian, who you are, who is Boniface Mwangi?
My name is Boniface Mwangi. I'm a patriot, I'm a Kenyan, and I speak courage fluently. I'm a political activist. I ran for public office last month. Yeah, that's basically me. And I'm a father of 3 beautiful kids, and I'm married to 1 wife.
Oh, okay. And then I was going to ask you, can you tell us about your active, becoming an activist? You started as a photographer. If you can tell us a little bit about that, how you started that.
About 10 years ago, I was working for the Standard as a photographer, and I covered the violence that followed the elections of 2007. I was able to document what was going on in the country, the killings, the brutality, and from that coverage, it made me change my ways from being a photographer to becoming a political activist, because from the violence that I documented, I saw what tribalism can do, what bad leadership can do, and I thought as a photographer, my work was limited because I used to photograph, my work is published, and nothing happens about it. I thought, why don't I just go and get involved in making Kenya better? So I moved from just taking pictures to using my work to bring about change and fighting for a better Kenya.
Okay, and because you are involved in this activist movement, do you fear for your life in Kenya? Anything fear? Because I see you got wrapped up a few days ago, like, was it 2 weeks ago? Yes. Do you fear for your life?
No, fear is normal. I think fear keeps you alive, so there's normal fear. But I've gone past I've gone past that stage of fearing for my life. I think if I'm going to die, I'm just going to die. You think about it, and you can't change anything about it. When there were threats on my life from some quarters, I went public about it. So every time I get threatened, I go public about it. And that's the least I can do, because what they try and do when they threaten you, they want to paralyze you, because fear is very paralyzing. When they threaten you, you get afraid and you can't do much. And that's the tactic, man, because they want to make you afraid so that you can leave the country and you stop doing the work that you're trying to do. But you can't live in a culture of fear. So I stopped fearing for my life. And I also believe that my life is in God's hands. I'm not in control of my life. So if I fear, I won't change anything.
Wow. Okay. And for the last decade, you've been fighting the government for corruption, impunity. Do you affiliate yourself with Jubilee or NASA government? If you can tell the viewers, please.
It is very interesting. You either have to be Jubilee or NASA. I'm neither, actually. I'm the party leader of Ukweli Party, which has no relation to any of the two other political parties. And I don't subscribe to Jubilee or NASA. So I'm neither in those two political parties. I belong to Ukweli Party.
Oh, okay. Because I think many people, they have labeled you as one of the most famous provocateur, if you can say, against Jubilee government. You've been fighting them, and I saw you about 2 weeks ago, you got arrested. Did you get arrested, by the way? Because I saw just on the news, they were trying to rough you up, but I don't know how that happened. You say you're not going anywhere. How did that go?
So I was able to run away, but I think it's very foolish to associate my work. It's against Jubilee or NASA. It's not against either of them. I have never done a protest about anyone. Mm-hmm. It's about issues. So when you protest against land grabbing, impunity, corruption, unless you're telling me that that Jubilee, when we protest against corruption, actually, then if Jubilee reflects corruption, then it's against Jubilee. But I don't think, and I've never done a protest against a particular person. So, but maybe because of Jubilee's in power, then corruption, land grabbing is synonymous with Jubilee. That's why people are against Jubilee.
Yeah, and what do you say to Kenyans? Because I think for the last elections, we have seen most people who are like the cabinet secretaries, like Anne Waiguru, for instance. She looted almost like 1 billion Kenya shillings, 791 to be exact. Charity Ngilu, like she had one of the worst corruption in Kenya. CS, Engineer Kamau, Olelenku, and those people, they got to have a governorship. So do you think people in Kenya, they vote based on the merit or based on the popularity? If you can tell us about that.
Kenyans vote for money. Your average voter votes for money and votes for people who have a lot of money, who can be able to bribe them, give them a t-shirt. When I was campaigning, people thought or perceived me to be poor, and they don't like poor people. And it's very interesting that a poor person is not willing to vote for someone else who is like poor as they are, or who looks like they might be poor. So we need to be able to work very hard to change voters' perception, because I think the people who have more money, or people who look to be perceived to be rich, are the best leaders. So that's the reason why most of the people who run for public office have to loot. So you either go sell drugs, so you're a drug dealer, you're a land grabber, you're a thief, you go steal as much as you can, then you run for public office. Because when you're running for public office, every man that you meet out there, be it a woman, a child, even small kids asking for a bribe, gukas, everyone, kakitu, nipatie t-shirt, nipatie 50 bob, they just want money. So your average Kenyan voter is very transactional. It's quid pro quo. Nipe kakitu, nipatie kura yangu. Voters sell their vote. And most voters don't even understand the power of their vote. They think they have been shafted so many times. So they think, even if I don't sell my vote, you won't serve me. So I'd rather sell my vote. And that's why they sell their votes. So we need to do a lot of work, man. I think for Kenya to move forward, we need to actually work on voter education.
Yeah, I think civic education is much needed, because looking at Kirinyaga people, they voted for Anne Waiguru after.
But remember this. Last year, December 12 last year, Uhuru Kenyatta went to Nyayo Stadium and banned civic education. He said we don't need advocacy and civic education. And that is a problem, because as long as the voters are foolish, as long as they're ignorant, they have no information, they'll vote for Waiguru, they'll vote for Ngilu, they'll vote for Joho, they'll vote for Sonko, they'll vote for anyone, irrespective of their background. So I don't even blame the voters alone. I blame our leadership, because even the leaders actually, they benefit from the ignorance of the voters.
Wow. Okay. Let's talk about the, and I know you don't have much time, the political assassination. This last election, we saw Chris Msando was killed, brutally murdered because of his role with ICT IBC manager. And then few weeks later, the lady named as Caroline Odinga was found in Siaya County, was killed because of her role in IBC. Do you think Kenya government can be trusted when it comes to these probes, or they need an international inquiry for these people to become and investigating all these murders? Because it started like with Ouko during the whole Moi era. It's coming to Kenyatta. It has never stopped. Do you think Kenyan government so far can be trusted?
No, Kenya has never resolved a single political murder. We go back as far as 1964, General Baimunge, Piogama Pinto, Tomboya, JM Karaoke, Ouko, now Chris Musando, those GPO Oulu, Oscar Kingara, even George Moshai was a political assassination. You can't trust the government. Boynet is not independent. He's an extension of the Jubilee government.
Yeah.
And so political murders are never investigated. And even if you look at Musando's killing, he's being killed in a city where we have a 15 billion CCTV investment, which means the government can be able to track your every move and see who is in your car, who's driving your car. So the killing actually of Musando was election related, and I don't think it's going to be resolved. But you also have to remember that 10 years ago, there was violence in Kenya. Over 1,000 people were killed. Over 1,000 people were killed. 500,000 displaced, and not a single conviction from that particular violence. So Kenya is a country of impunity, where if you're very rich and famous, you can get away with murder. Look at this past election. Over 7 people have been killed by police officers. No investigation, no inquest, nothing has actually happened. And I think we need to actually worry a lot when the government gets away with murder, or when the state kills its own citizens, because you're going towards anarchy. You may think that because you support Jubilee, you benefit. But the truth is, the moment the government crosses a particular line and goes towards anarchy and dark and having black ops or killers or guys who are mandated to kill some people, one day it will be a time they will kill you as well. Remember, they can never stop. Once they start killing, when they realize that the only way to retain power is to kill people who stand between us and the truth, they'll kill even you. So you look at Central Province. Who did Mishuki kill? Mungiki. Yep. They killed thousands of Kikuyu young men. Now they're killing Luos. Who will they kill next? So you need to think about that.
Yeah. And what do you take on these Kikuyu Kalenjin marriage? If you say Ruto and Uhuru collaborating for political reasons, because if you know 2007, 2008, I think most of the mastermind was Ruto, and some people that say was Uhuru Kenyatta. So what do you say about these the political marriage between them just for political reasons?
It's a marriage of convenience. Uhuru and Ruto came together because of both suspects for crimes against humanity. They were both suspects for rape, murder, and mass displacement. And it's very interesting that in the last few years, they've been able to erase that from their CV. But it's a fact that they were both charged with crimes against humanity. And you know for a fact, the cases collapsed because witnesses were killed. That's a fact.
Yes.
Yeah, so we all know what really happened. So
wow. Yeah.
I think we need to think about Kenya beyond Uhuru Kenyatta and Ruto and Raila Odinga, because my fear is, as now Uhuru has been re-elected, and this is my biggest fear, they are very keen on watering down the gains of the Constitution. They're very keen on changing the laws to weaken the Supreme Court. They're very keen of trying to show that they have won and they have muscles. But what they're going to do is destroy institutions that are supposed to be there for posterity. The Constitution is not a list of suggestions. The Constitution doesn't belong to Uhuru's mother or Ruto's mother or my mother. The Constitution is a posterity document to preserve the integrity, the dignity of the country. And
That's
the moment
true.
you think that, and the moment you think that it doesn't serve my purpose, you want to destroy it, you're being selfish and very short-term thinking and very myopic. So we need to challenge those thinkings. I can see some silly men commenting there saying that Musando was a love triangle. If it was a
Oh
love
no, it
triangle,
wasn't. Oh, give me a
why haven't
break.
this investigated? Let me tell you, you have a lot of these people who, for you to understand the state of the nation right now, you need to go back to history. Let me tell you, my fellow Kenyans in the diaspora and even locally, do not celebrate impunity. Do not celebrate lawlessness. Do not celebrate bravado. The reason why when someone runs for public office, be it Uhuru Kenyatta or Raila Odinga, the moment they get elected, they're there to become your servants. They're supposed to work for you. And when they do it, they're not doing you a favor. Doctors have been on strike for 150 days. What has Uhuru done about it? What have the governors done about it? These guys don't care about you. Remember that. You have very, very poor people defending corruption. You're extremely poor. You live in a shithole. You shit in a paper bag. You live in a slum. You are a hawker. Una kitu. You're very poor. And you're defending impunity. What kind of a fool are you? There are no teachers in classes. There are not enough doctors in hospitals. Not enough medicine. There's no blood in our hospitals. There's no radiotherapy and chemotherapy machines in our hospitals, and you're still defending corruption, impunity, high members of parliament salaries. Ujinga tu. Think about Kenya, and think about your kids, and think about our future. Where are we going as a country? Our country has been borrowing money. SGR was a very bad deal. We borrowed money. We're going to start paying it in October this month. The country is suffering. People are getting poorer by the day. And we're here stuck in tribalism. Kenya has only two tribes, you fools. There's only two tribes, the rich and the poor. And if you're middle class, it won't be for long because cost of living is going to go high. You're either going to become more poorer or you become a thief. So do not defend impunity or corruption or thieves because they come from your tribes. Your person neighbor Mgawani na yeye. Mgawani. Please remember that. And let's not put this to Mambo, let's not get even involved God in this conversation or even Satan. Because listen, when there were elections, God wasn't vying and the devil wasn't vying. They were not on the ballot. That's a fact. When money gets stolen, the devil doesn't have a bank at Nenanga Koshitani. No. It's individuals. The people messing our country are individuals. And you must hold them individually responsible. There's no tribe running Kenya. Kikuyus are not running Kenya. It's just a few people who have been elected, but they happen to be Kikuyus. And when they steal, when Aino Egoro stole, the money did not go to the Kikuyu people, the Kirinyaga people. The money went to her pocket, and maybe she shared with a few other people. The same thing when Gilu steals or any other thief that you know. So this thing of theft being labeled on a tribe or saying that Kikuyus are running Kenya. Kikuyus are not running Kenya. I don't run Kenya. I have poor relatives. I have poor friends who are Kikuyus. They don't benefit from that theft. But kuna wale wajinga wanasema kwamba hiyo hizi kibozi inakuja kwa Kikuyu. Hizi kuja kwa Kikuyu. Some of the most poorest people are Kikuyus. Remember that. Ukienda kwa barabara leo, you go to Koinange Street. Wale mwale wamejea huko ni wa Kikuyu. You go to any prison today, the majority of prisoners are Kikuyus. So this thing Kikuyus that you are running in Kenya, we are owning in Kenya. We don't own Kenya. It's owned by a few individuals. Brookside doesn't belong to Kikuyus or any of those other companies. The gas company that Odinga owns doesn't belong to Luos. Or the land that Moi stole doesn't belong to the Kalenjins. So we need to think like that. When they steal this money, it doesn't go to a tribe or a community. Let's not forget that. So when you try and tribalize our politics, tunadanganyo, because they tribalize our politics to get our votes. But when they loot and do all those things, they benefit as individuals. We need a country. I'm a father of 3 young kids. We need a country where we're going to judge people based by their character, their behavior, and their track record, and their integrity, not what tribe they are. And this is what I've done with our kids, me and my wife. We have named our kids different names. My firstborn has a Zulu name. My secondborn has an Arabic name. And my lastborn has a Luo name. If you meet my kids and you hear their first 2 names, they don't have a Kikuyu name. So good luck to anyone who judge them by their tribe, because I'm going to fight tribe on my own way. You guys may not fight tribalism. You may think there's Odamaki or Luos or that. You may not do that. But me, I'm going to lead by example because I want Kenya to be better for me and my kids. Our forefathers did not fight so that you can become a country of Kikuyus and Luos and Kalenjins and other tribes. They fought that you could be one people, and we are one people.
Wow. Yeah, that's a real talk right there. I couldn't agree anymore. Do you have more time? Because I was going to ask you something about 2017 election. Do you think it was fair, credible election? Was it?
There's a lot of questions. I'll go with the Supreme Court, the ruling by the Supreme Court. They said there were illegalities and irregularities, and that is there's actually evidence to show that. So I believe it wasn't free and fair.
Oh, okay. What about, you're talking about the 8th of the August. What about the just concluded 26th of October election? Because many people, they have said Uhuru Kenyatta was running against himself. He had like 98% against himself. He had nobody to, run against with. So do you think that was a sham election, as many people are calling it? Or was it like a fair, a credible election? The one who just happened a few days ago. What do you take your take on that?
No, he was running against himself. So that wasn't an election. That was a coronation.
Yep. I agree with that. So the other thing I was going to ask you.
But you have to listen. If Raila Odinga did not vie because he had a lot of concerns about the credibility of the elections that was going to happen, and Uhuru Kenyatta would have actually, they were just about basic minimum reforms before the elections. He could have actually agreed on that. Right now, Uhuru is going to struggle with legitimacy. He ran against himself, and when you run against yourself, you win. But now he's going to be a president of very few people. He actually needs to reach out. And the only way forward, I believe, as a country, is there need to be a political dialogue on the way forward. I don't think just stamping is going to help anyone. We're going to suffer, all of us. And if Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga have the best interests of the country at heart, they need to sit down and agree a way forward. Because we can't be held hostage by Uhuru or Raila Odinga. They need to put the nation first. It's very, very important. If you to take Barack Obama or the Pope to come and lead a dialogue, there must be a dialogue. We cannot have a country in crisis. So there's a need for dialogue. Uhuru doesn't lose anything, or Raila Odinga, if both of them come together and sit and say, how do we get Kenya moving forward? That's important. And Kenya is more important than Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga. And so that's why I think for the best of our country, they need to sit down and say, what's the way forward? But the other thing we need to realize, we need to actually ensure that we can't be having an election in this country and they're not credible and fair. Kenya, since 1992, has only had one fair election, 2002. In 92, there were problems, people died. 97, there were problems, people died. 2002 was the only fair election. 2007, there were problems. 2013, there were problems. 2017, there were problems. We can't be a country where we can't even be able to count votes. Yeah. And we also need, as a country, to remove these many packs and this money and these things that makes our policy very, very corrupt and very competitive. Our politics is a do or die game because there's so much money involved. We need to turn public office into public service. If we remove the packs and these things that come with these big positions, then you're only going to get serious people vying. But the reason why most people want to vie for elective office is because you get protection. You get protection from, if you're a thief or a drug dealer or whatever you've done, when you get into public office, you get political protection. But remove all those parts and make sure that if you break the law, you go to jail. People won't vie for elective office because public office, you bring scrutiny to your life. If you're a thug, the last place you want to be is public office because you're going to jail.
Yeah. And there's so much uncertainty in our country right now. We saw 6 months old baby was killed in Kisumu. 10 years old baby girl was killed in Kibera. Are we yet to see another bloodshed in Kenya?
We need to go? Okay, give me 2 minutes. Okay, so go ahead. What was your last question? Sorry, someone.
Yeah, are we yet to see another bloodshed in Kenya? Like, given that we have so much uncertainty and not this political craziness going on.
Listen, no one has to die for anyone to be elected. We have to come to that place in our country. No one has to die. It's not that you need to do a blood sacrifice for you to get elected. That shouldn't happen. And also think that police should actually train themselves to have restraint when they are trying to control protests. There's a lot of police brutality, and you need to stop that. So I don't think there's any justification for anybody to die. No one should be shot in a peaceful protest. And
okay.
Finally, let me say this. I know people don't agree with street protests, but street protests are still very important because it's one of the ways that the weak, the voiceless get to be heard. And the work of the police in a peaceful protest is protect the protesters and ensuring who is breaking the law should be arrested. The idea that you're saying it's okay for someone to be shot in a peaceful protest is very wrong, because the people who are destroying our country, the people who have stolen millions of shillings in Kenya haven't been shot. Kamlesh Patini, Daniel Arap Moi, Arap Mashamba, always wanted to know Ajua, even the drug dealers and the drug barons. No one shoots at them. They actually get police protection. So we need to protect the protesters as well. And if anyone who in the streets is protesting and they're stealing or looting or they're trying to destroy things, arrest, take them to court. We're a country with a constitution, and we are a country that must be governed by the rule of law. And I have to go because I have 2 more meetings and I have a presentation.
Would you promise you're going to be back on Friday? Because we have to discuss about your Starehe parliamentary seat, IEBC, University of Nairobi protest.
Yes.
We can create like 30 more minutes. We can talk about part 2. Are
Okay,
you going to be here in the States?
Yes, I'll be in the States. I live on Sunday, so I'm still around for the next 3 days.
Oh, okay. So we can plan something on Friday?
Yes, sir.
Or tomorrow?
Tomorrow I'll be on transit from Boston to New York, so I can't be able to do it because I'll be on the train.
Friday morning around the same time, because we have a lot of stuff we have to discuss here. And thank you for joining us today. Hope to see you in 2 days. Sasa.
Asante sana. Okay.
Alrighty. All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Have a good day. Bye.
You too. Bye.
All right. There you have it, guys. That was Boniface Mwangi. Looks like we have a lot of questions here. Let me just read some of the comments here for the sake of it. He's not here to answer, but Philip Laguna anasema the fact there was no investigation and prosecution tell us a lot about the government involvement. Well, I'll ask him that. I'll keep that in mind. Let's see here. Somebody, Mwangi Manulu. No, Mwangi, no. I know you know the meaning of the word fact. That was assumption. Okay. All right. I'll take note of this, and I'm gonna ask him when he come here next week. In about 2 days. Philip anasema Brian Joroge, that solo of you to insinuate the death of Msando was a love triangle. It wasn't a love triangle. That's crazy. Yeah. So anyway, guys, I gotta go to Boniface will be here on Friday morning, maybe around the same time. I will liaise with him and see what we're gonna talk about. I still have some more questions about him. I wanna ask him about his Starehe parliamentary seat, IEBC, Roslina Kombe, political assassination, University of Nairobi protests, the way they were bullied and live bullets and all that. So you better tune in on Friday because I'm going to bring him here. We're going to talk more about that issue. So have a good day. I got to go too. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you.